See if that worked. I think I should be live now. Yep, that worked. Roger that. Go to live. Live. All right, we're cooking up now, baby. Let's go. There we go. There we go. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, that's working. Welcome to the live, y'all. Welcome to the live. Raj, what's going on, man? What's going on? Hello. What's going on, Raj? How is your Tuesday going? Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, today's Tuesday. Okay. From California, over in Cali. How are you doing, Raj? It's afternoon time for you over there. Doing good? Love it. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Is that Ahmed2506? Hello. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I think I've seen that username in the stream a good bit. So welcome back. I appreciate the support. I was going to do... Yes, 3 times now. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming back and I appreciate the support. I'm hoping that my content, both like the short form content that I post out, but also these lives are helping. So if that is the case, I am happy that that is helping. So far, Kush over from YouTube. Hello, Nick. Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. If this is your first time to the stream, welcome to the stream. I am excited about today in the fact that we are streaming, but not really. I mean, the Bitcoin chart's not really doing anything. I mean, we could start with Bitcoin. I wanted to potentially look at actually MSTR today. I had a couple questions about MSTR on like comments, a couple comments about MSTR. We can definitely jump into that chart. I had a couple comments on it. Actually, let's start with that. Let's start with MSTR because there was a lot of interest in that before. And I want to make sure that, wait, nope, stocks, here we go. Or strategy, I guess now. Can you please do an analysis on MSTR? I want 1,000. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's jump into MSTR. I had a lot of questions on MSTR, so I want to dive into. Let me just clean up the entire chart, and then we can show the full analysis. Because MSTR for me looks exactly the same as Bitcoin. Like the price or not the price, but the structures look very similar to each other. And on Bitcoin, if you've been following my Bitcoin chart now for the past basically couple months, it very much mirrors MSTR, and that would make sense because MSTR buys Bitcoin. It would make sense they would buy Bitcoin. So for me, MSTR off of these lows, this was back in 2022, had a 5-wave move, and it's not an expanding flat like Bitcoin, whereas Bitcoin was a little bit different. So with Bitcoin, you had a move like this. You had a 5-wave move. But the way that Bitcoin moved, it had its A wave, it had a bigger B wave, and then we're in the C wave, which for MSTR, it's more of a, not an expanding flat. I think it's running flat is the name of the title. I think it's no, not running flat. I think it's just a regular flat, but essentially the same thing. It's in the flat category. And with an expanding flat, it's in the name expanding flat. You get a higher B wave and then you get a C wave. With a regular or running flat, you get a shortened B wave and then a C wave. But nonetheless, the structure is still about the same. So you get a 5-wave move, then you get a 3-wave corrective move down for the wave A. Then you get a 3-wave move up for the wave B, and then you get a 5-wave move down for the wave C. So let's dive into the wave C because that's probably the most pertinent or the highest, or what is on everyone's mind, right? Like, when does this thing bottom? When does the MSTR bottom? What does that bottom look like? So we already know from this chart right here, we have an A wave and we have a B wave. So that's confirmed. I mean, you can see these are monthly candles. You can see it on the chart. Sunny, oh, what's going on, Sunny? How you doing? This is MSTR. Excuse me, I need a glass of water, damn. Yeah, this is MSTR or strategy or MicroStrategy. They rebranded to strategy now, but I had a lot of questions on my TikTok videos about, hey, can we look into MSTR? So the way that I'm thinking about MSTR is very similar to Bitcoin in the fact that we have a 5-wave move, then we have this ABC, this flat correction. So diving into the weekly time frame, we can look at the specific correction, aka the wave C. So let me get this into frame here. So on the wave C, you're going to get a 5-wave move. So for the wave A, you have an A, B, C. Then you have this A wave, B wave, C wave of a wave B. And then you're going to have a 5-wave move down for the wave C. That's the same on Bitcoin. That's the same on MSTR. It makes sense that they're very similar because they both kind of follow, like MSTR follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a proxy, so it kind of follows strategy into some sense. But if we dive down to the daily time frame, we can analyze this a bit further. Oh, nope. Let me move this. Hold on. Bear with me. Let me try to get all this into frame here. So on this wave down, we had a wave 1, which consisted of a 5-wave move. It's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. What is this? Because it can't. Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Some TikTok live shit. I've been seeing it a lot more and more on TikTok Live. They keep giving me these like restricted bans for unoriginal content. I don't know how this is unoriginal. It's literally my face with a screen going through charts. I don't know what's going on with TikTok, so I'm trying to figure that out with TikTok support, which has been a pain in the ass. Regardless, though, we have a 5-wave move down for wave 1. Okay, that's what we want to see. Then for wave 2, we had a 3. If you dive in on this in a smaller time frame, you'd have a 3-wave movement. Then we have this long wave 3. Then we have this wave 4, and then we're in the wave 5. So if we zoom in on this wave 5, it looks very similar to Bitcoin. And for me, this looks like a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3. We're in the wave 4, and then we should see one more drop for a wave 5 on MSTR. Similar to my Bitcoin chart, if you've seen my Bitcoin thesis now for the past couple months, we're in this wave 4 expecting a wave 5 dump. With MSTR, it depends on how much we kind of appreciate, I guess, if that makes sense, with the wave 4. And let me get this in a chart. So it looks like so far we've had an A wave, a B wave, and then we're kind of in this C. So we might see a little bit of a bounce, similar to what I'm thinking on Bitcoin. We get one more bounce up for this ABC of this, the smaller ABC of the C wave. And then once we get this bounce, then we should see a dump lower. I can hypothetically put out some targets because we haven't really topped yet for a wave 4, but we can use this as a gauge to potentially find out some bottoming targets for MSTR. And using Elliott Wave rules, you take the fib retracement tool, which is right here. I'll put it in the frame here. You take the fib retracement tool, you take it from the bottom of wave 3 to the top of wave 4. So say we bounce up to, I don't know, say 140. Say we get a bounce to 140. A good bottoming zone for MSTR is anywhere between like $80 and $100. That would be a great bottoming zone for MSTR. And off of these lows, based on the monthly structure, we should see an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off of these lows. And that for me will target. Let me go back to the monthly time frame here. Let me get all this into screen for the vertical TikTok here. Hold on. Oh. I think that's all in there. Okay. So once we bottom with this wave 4, say that comes in at $90. This is a 5-wave move followed by a correction. For me, the next move for MSTR is a wave 3, which say we bottom at, I don't know, we'll call it $93. The next targets for MSTR is anywhere between like $630 and $950. And typically the wave 3 targets the 1.618. So around $950 is the next price target for me on MSTR. That would be what I'm targeting using this. I'm waiting for, MSTR looks very attractive now. I'm waiting for one more dump lower, and I'll probably start adding to a position on this, waiting for this next move up. I mean, from there, that'd be almost a 10x from from if we bottom at 93, that could be a 10x potential on MSTR. And again, these are monthly candles, so it's going to take time to develop. But for me, MSTR is looking very good at where it's at. And this is also following my thesis with Bitcoin in the sense that both are entering wave threes. And with wave threes, you'll essentially get a wave 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 up to this area. How long will it take to reach 950? So the timing wise, LA Wave Theory doesn't have a lot of rules on this, and this is the hardest, or I get a lot of questions on that. It's always, what's the time frame? When does this happen? Does it take, a year? Does it take 2 years? Does it take 3 years? There's really not a lot of rules on Elliott Wave Theory. There's only rules around price targets and where the market wants to go. And that's kind of what we're seeing here on the chart. After a 5-wave move like this, after this 5-wave move, you get an ABC, and then after that, you get another 5-wave move. It doesn't provide any rules or like how we're using fib extensions and how we're using retracements for price targets. It doesn't give rules around time. So that's the only caveat to the strategy. And I don't know of any strategy, to be honest. I don't know of any strategy out there. Moving average strategies, smart money concept strategies, like any trading strategy, I have no clue if any of them out there provide rules around time of, oh, this should happen in 6 months, this should happen in a year. Unfortunately, it's just a matter of being patient. Because if you're in at this level, I mean, that's a 10x potential. So are you willing to wait, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 years for a potential to make a 10x on a trade? I think that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Thanks. I am assuming by end of 2026, but great analysis. Thanks, Kush. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, for me, and I may be very contrary to others, and in the sense that a lot of the altcoin, and I did the video on this today, and this is not my base case scenario. I think that 2026 is going to surprise a lot of people. What's up, Matt? How's it going? I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Hope your Tuesday's going well. I think for me, a lot of people are expecting. Let me jump over to the Bitcoin chart real quick. Well, I guess I could kind of do it on the MicroStrategy chart, but it makes more sense on Bitcoin because I think a lot of people are expecting something like this. So if we look at the Bitcoin chart, right? Let me get all this into frame for the people on TikTok. So if we're looking at the Bitcoin chart, right, everyone's, at least what I've seen over all social media platforms, and I like to go, Summer's in the chat. What's up, Sum? My wife's in the chat. She's over on TikTok right now. I appreciate the support. A lot of people are expecting something like this, at least what I've seen on TikTok. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. Everyone that I can see is posting something like this. They're all using fractals from before. It's not from the bottom. It's all like this. We're all going to get a bounce and then we're going down. That's all I'm seeing everywhere is we're going to get a bounce up and then we're dumping to, 30K to 15K, bear market, all this stuff. I tend to disagree with that because if everyone's thinking the same thing, that just doesn't make sense. With the greed and with the fear and greed right now at 5 or 10 or wherever it's at right now, it's extreme fear. Markets don't top in fear. They generally bottom in fear and top in euphoria. It's always the inverse. And when I see all of these crypto influencers, all of these people all over just crypto land, they're all saying the same shit. It's all bounce, dump, everyone. I'm like, how is everyone going to be correct? Retail loses money so many times. Everyone bought up here and then they're like, okay, I'm going to wait for a bounce. I'm going to sell. And then, when it dumps, I'm going to buy back in. Unfortunately, how many times has retail been correct? They're always on the other end of the spectrum on the trade. They're always wrong. It's unfortunate. Not everyone's always wrong, but no one wanted to buy here. No one wanted to buy at 15K. And they all thought it was going to continue dumping. And then when they realized it wasn't dumping and price started to get explosive, they got nervous. They're like, I don't know if it's going to, if this rally's going to last. Everyone on wave 1 was thinking this rally's not going to last and we're going to dump. And then what happens? We get an explosive wave 3 and they're like, no, not yet. Then you get a little correction of wave 4, and then you get this wave 5, and then everyone's like, okay, super cycle, I'm going to buy. Everyone bought here, and then lo and behold, it enters its correction, and then it dumps, and everyone's underwater, and they're like, ah, shit, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm underwater, I'm just going to hold my position. Or some people sold their position, depending on what their preference was, but retail could have sold up here, and then they dumped in, and they're like, okay, this time I'm going to time it right. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. We're going to get the bounce and we're going to get the dump, and I'm going to load up down here. If they didn't load up here, what makes you think they're going to load up here? So I think everyone's going to be wrong, and everyone that's waiting for this dump is going to get something like this. And this is my thesis, is we get an explosive wave 1 off. Everyone doubts it. We get a correction 2. Then we get an explosive wave 3. Then we get a dump 4, and then retail FOMOs in on wave 5, and then guess what? They buy at the top, and then we get the dump. And it's like, that's just me. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to get an explosive wave up. Targeting 150 to 200 is my top targets for Bitcoin. And if this coincides with MSTR, which I think it does, because the structure of it looks very similar. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again with Bitcoin, you had an expanding flat, and then MSTR, you kind of had more of a regular flat, whereas like Bitcoin went above the wave 5, it kind of went above the wave 5, whereas MSTR kind of shallowed out and then dumped. But the same concept still stands, meaning you have an ABC, then you have an ABCB, then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down. And once this bottoms, I think we're off to the races. And for me, MSTR, the next target would be 950. I think it happens within 2026. I do. I think that we're going to have a huge parabolic leg going through the rest of this year, and everyone's going to get caught off guard. Right, I agree, and that also breaks the market pattern too. Yeah, 100%. If everyone's thinking the same thing, I just feel like they're going to be on the wrong end of the spectrum again, and I don't know. I mean, what time will tell, who knows? And I did a scenario on this yesterday. It really depends on what prices do off of these lows. That's really what's going to determine what's next. Is if we get a 3-wave movement off of the lows, then further corrections in play. That for me, I don't necessarily want. I want obviously the bullish price action, but I'm always open to what the market gives me. If it gives me a 3-wave move off the lows, then I know there's probably another 3-wave move down. And then from there, for me, that would mark a complete bottom, because instead of having a 3-wave bottom, we would have a WXY, and essentially you would have an ABC for a W, an ABC for a Y, and then an ABC for a Z, W down here, X up here, and then Y, and then from here we get the 5-wave impulsive moves up. So it's only going to be determined by price action off of these lows. I did a video on it earlier today about how altcoins look very similar to, like, most of them look like they're going to be bottoming. And once that happens, I do think we're going to get explosive moves to the upside. Nick, I sent you the zoomed in version of the charts. Oh, wait, I can't. Last night you posted on Twitter. I sent it to you last night. Please don't ignore this. Put it on your screen and let it soak in if you can. Let me see if I can pull this up. But yeah, you did send that to me, so I do want to be able to showcase that. So we can dive into that for sure. I just wanted to make sure that I was answering Kush's question about MSTR. Also, I do see Bitcoin at 200 by the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, that's my next target. If I look at just how we did the same thing with MSTR, you can do the same thing with Bitcoin. And for me, the Bitcoin's probably going to bottom like maybe 57K. And for me, my next targets are 150 to 200. I've been saying that now for months, and this is the reason why, because we've had a wave 1, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a wave 1. This is the wave 2, and then the wave 3 is going to target the 1.618. We could extend to the 2.618. That's also an option, or we could extend to the 2, which is another option. So typically the wave 3 targets between the 1.618 and the 2, which is between 200 and 240. Do we see that? Potentially, but anywhere between 150 to like 200 is kind of my target. Let's see. Is that Mued from TikTok said short-term prediction? My short-term prediction is more downside, based on the daily chart, and the reason behind it is, again, similar to MSTR. Let me get it in frame for you so you can see. So for both MSTR and Bitcoin, they look very similar. We just looked at MSTR and it still had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure. And a lot of altcoins have this too. But for me, the next move is we should see a small bounce, maybe towards 72. The reason why I think we're going to bounce is we have on the smaller time frames, this was an ABC structure up. Then we had a B, and then we should see an ABC structure up to complete the C. And then once we top out here, somewhere around 70 to 75, we'll get a dump down to 60 to 50K. And for me, that's going to mark the bottom. Sunfire said strategy bets at 10x and Bitcoin only gets a 3-4x. Doesn't sound right. Not sure what you mean. I mean, for strategy, you got to remember it's a leverage play on Bitcoin. And then like you have Bitcoin and then you have strategy, which is like a leverage play on it. So the gains on it are very different. And the charts are very different. So not all, just because MicroStrategy follows Bitcoin doesn't mean the same multiples apply. You have to use what the chart gives you, and based on what the chart is showing, Bitcoin is looking from where it's at right now, the next targets are 150 to 200, whereas with strategy, because of the chart and how parabolic it went, it's looking a bit different. I'm just going off of what the chart shows me, not necessarily of, oh, well, Bitcoin could do more because strategy is buying Bitcoin, so Bitcoin should do a more multiple. It doesn't necessarily work like that. Like, even though assets are correlated, charts are very different, if that makes sense. But based on what we just looked at, I can pull it up right now. MSTR. So for strategy, let me go to the monthly time frame. Let me get all this into frame. Hold on. So for strategy, this is kind of what we're looking at. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me move this. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. And you can see for strategy, we went from $13 all the way up to 500, which was a bigger multiple than Bitcoin off the low, because Bitcoin went from, what was it, 15,000 to 126. I think that's what, a 10x, right? 15 to 126. That's about, no, that's less than a 10x. It's like a 9x or something like that. But strategy went from 13 to 500. So it was an exponentially larger gain off of the lows. And using the same structure or same rules for Elliott wave theory, you still take the trend-based extension, take it from the bottom of the 5-wave move, top of the 5-wave move to the bottom. So for strategy, the next target's 950 based on the chart. Kush had great analysis, Nick. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. We go live every day too. So I go live across all platforms. I'm still working on TikTok for whatever reason. They keep giving me this unoriginal content shit. Apparently it's happening for tons of people that are going live on TikTok. Whenever you have like a browser, whenever you're sharing a browser on TikTok, like I'm sharing my my trading browser from TradingView on TikTok, it picks it up as like unoriginal content for whatever reason because of their AI. And then it flags it, and then it restricts my views to only my followers. It doesn't push it out to more people. So with that being said, I do go live on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube to get more exposure. But for whatever reason, TikTok likes to flag my stuff, and it's happening to like everyone that's streaming on TikTok. So I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward with TikTok if they keep giving me these restrictions. I'll still keep it up for the followers that want to join from TikTok on TikTok, but I also go live on the other platforms too. When and what time do you go live? I do Sunday through Thursday at like between 6 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's my schedule right now, is Sunday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. High Speed, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. I appreciate that, High Speed. Yeah, today's a solid day. I will say today was a pretty good day. It was warm down here in Georgia, so with it being February and being in the 60, 70 degrees, I'll take that any day of the week. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, and welcome back to the live. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. When do you think Phase 5 will start, and how long could it take in weeks, months? So Kush over on YouTube had the same question, like timing wise. I think that all charts, honestly, like we've looked at a few charts over the past week. Like we've looked at Cardano, we've looked at AVAX, we've looked at now MSTR, we've looked at Bitcoin, Ethereum, SUI, Solana, Ethereum, like all these charts look very similar in the sense that they should be bottoming soon. MSTR, obviously, it's not an expanding flat, it's more of a regular flat, which for MSTR, for those that don't necessarily know Elliott wave theory that well, is, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, maybe not. With Elliott wave theory, you have these different like versions of flats. Essentially, all that means is the structure. So with Bitcoin, we had an A, a larger B, and a C. But with MSTR, we had a flatter B, still with a C. So with all that being said, all these charts look like they're going to bottom soon. And what comes after a bottom for these structures, it's an impulsive wave to the upside. And when that happens, everyone's going to FOMO in. And they're going to be like, oh my God, alt season's back. And you got to think too, I had a question on my comments today, and I don't really trade liquidity. It's not something that I really factor into my trading and investing. Like, again, I stick to my one strategy. I don't want to confuse myself. There's so many different ways that you can invest and trade. Some people just don't really have a strategy. They kind of just buy every month, every week, which is also a great strategy in itself because you're staying consistent, and that's, your dollar cost averaging. But I get comments all the time of like, where's the liquidity going to come from? Like, altcoin season and Bitcoin can't continue to pump without the liquidity. But if you look at liquidity in the grand scheme of things, if you look at the liquidity chart, we've been pumping for the past, we've been pumping liquidity since October, but Bitcoin's going down. So they're like, well, liquidity pumps, Bitcoin's down. And then you go back to like 2000, was it 10, somewhere in that region, liquidity was going down, but assets were going up. So I don't really factor liquidity into it. I just use Elliott wave theory. That's my personal choice of my strategy, and it works very well for me. But they all keep saying, like, where's the liquidity going to come from? I mean, you look at investing as a whole. Patrick, what's going on? Patrick said, like up the live. Yeah, liking up the live does push it out, which is helpful. But with any investor, what do they look to do? When you're thinking about investing in the grand scheme of things, what does that mean? It's finding undervalued positions before the masses, and then waiting and being patient until the masses identify your asset. They view it as an undervalued asset, an underpriced asset. They start buying it, the thing starts appreciating, and then you take profits. That's the essential game of investing, right? You want to be in before the masses. You hear it all the time. Buy when people are fearful, sell when people are greedy. That's the exact formula that a lot of investors do. It's get in before the masses, get out while people are greedy. So for me, you're looking at all these positions. What is undervalued right now? For me, it's a lot of crypto related stuff. You get these massive declines from the high. I mean, Bitcoin's down 50% from the all-time high, but you have gold pumping, you have silver pumping, you have a lot of AI stocks that are pumping. You have all these assets that are pumping. People are going to eventually sell that, and they're going to look to put their money elsewhere. Where are they going to go? Well, for me, it's crypto. It's an undervalued position. People like crypto. They like the appeal of it. And all these crypto-related positions are going to start getting exposure again. And then guess what? The news is going to start pushing the narrative of crypto's back. We're going to 500K, the super cycle. If you look at the news right now, everyone's saying, well, top gold predictors are predicting whatever for gold. The news is not necessarily a good source because they always pump out positive news when things are at all-time highs, and they pump out negative news when they're at their bottoms. It's designed to make the retail investor buy the asset so large institutions can sell. Large institutions sell large orders. They need liquidity. Who's the liquidity? Retail. So it's like, where are they going to go? You're going to go to crypto. It's undervalued right now. So that's my thesis, and why everyone's saying, well, where's the liquidity going to come from? It'll come. You don't have to worry about that. People are going to buy it, and at the end of the day, you have institutions and countries buying Bitcoin now. Where do you think? All it takes is one country or one news article to pump out something around the US is loading up on Bitcoin. This thing will go parabolic. But again, I rely on the charts, not news. I don't really give a shit what's going on in the news. The news, to me, is a lagging effect. The technical analysis of Elliott wave theory front runs all that. And then what will happen is once price starts pumping, people are going to say, well, it's because of the news it's pumping. It's like, no, it was because the charts was telling us this. Let me see. Hold on. I missed some of these comments. So let me go back and look. When do I think phase 5 will start? If you're referring to the mini Wave 5, I think that comes in with like within a month to 3 months, and then we should see one last drop before the impulse is up. And then this next impulse up, I mean, that could take 3-6 months. We get a, an impulsive move up. Can you look at VeChain? Yeah, we can look at VeChain. Patrick said the money transfer is coming. It'll come. It'll come before load up. Yeah, load up now before the people come in. Yeah, we can look at VeChain for sure. Warren Buffett strategy. Yeah, 100%. My account was down 40%. I will say, Raj, I am also down on some altcoins too. I bought at 2022 lows thinking they were the bottom based on the structure, but lo and behold, we corrected more. So regardless, I do think we're going to get outperformance of altcoins soon, and that should alleviate some of the pain that I think a lot of people are in right now because they bought, in here and then it continued dumping. So I say that the time will come when what do you call it? When your position will be back to potentially even. I agree. Price dictates the news. Yeah, 100%. I mean, everyone was telling me, sorry, this is like my tangent. Let me finish this thought and then we'll go to VeChain. And we'll go to VeChain, then I'll answer the Kush, I'll answer your question. So for me, everyone was telling me back in December, January, when prices of Bitcoin were here. I'll show you what was happening because I have been documenting my whole process for the past couple months now. Everyone back here, let me go to the weekly chart. Let me make sure everyone can see this. So looking at this whole chart right here, right? You have the whole chart for the B wave. Where's December? So right in here, right? This is when I started like posting content. I was a little late. I didn't post content up here. I was kind of just evaluating things. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start posting content. I was kind of nervous to start posting content. I said, screw it. Let me, just start posting content. So around here, I was saying we've had the wave 1, we've had the wave 2, the wave 3, the wave 4, and we should get a wave 5 dump. I was saying that back in December when price was 91K. So for me, my target based on the wave 4 Fibonacci was between basically 80 to 70K. Obviously, we've overshot that, but that's because we've got an extended wave 5 right now. But I was saying back here, everything's going to dump. You should prepare for more downside. And then what happens? You get the Epstein files, you get all these negative news releases, and then you get this big dump. And then everyone was commenting on my page, where I've seen it on like Twitter everywhere. They're like, oh, price is dumping because of Epstein news, government shutdown, all this stuff. I'm like, no, the price is dumping because the technicals suggested it was going to dump. But you're using the news as a fallback on what price should have been doing. Like, price should have been dumping based on the technicals. It's just the news is fueling some of it, so to speak. Let me see. Yeah, we can do VeChain for sure. Yeah, we can look at VeChain. Bitcoin at 60, I dollar cost every coin hard. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the next wave down is going to be between 60 to 50K. That's my target for this wave 5. If you look at this is a weekly candles. If you look at this wave 5 right here on the daily candle, it has a 1, 2, 3. We're in the 4, and we should see one more dump. Let me see. I sent it to you. Oh, wait, hold on. Coach said thoughts on MNAV on MSCR. I don't really know. I've seen posts about it. I don't really have too many thoughts on it, if I'm being honest. I just follow the Elliott Wave strategy. That's really the only strategy that I follow. I don't really, because if I follow too much information, it confuses me. And I don't want to get confused because then I have like competing strategies where you have like Elliott Wave theory saying one thing, then you could have this strategy saying another, then this strategy saying another, and then this concept. So like I feel like all of them kind of compete with each other. They have the pros, cons, obviously, but for me, I want to keep it as simple as possible. I don't want to confuse myself. I want to make investing as simple as I physically possibly can. And for me, I use Elliott Wave theory. It serves me well. It allows me to do things like this, like when it was back in December and I was saying, hey, we should expect, a wave 5 downwards. People were criticizing me for it, but then we get the dump and they're like, oh, wow, you were actually right. And I don't try to be right, wrong. I don't really care about that. I just want to make sure that I'm making good investment decisions. And when I saw this structure developing over this, basically this whole structure right here, I'm like, well, this is an expanding flat. We have a 3-wave move down, then we have a 3-wave move up, then we should expect a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down. And that's what I was expecting. And we had a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we're in the 5. Boom. Great opportunity right here. Load up on some Bitcoin and then target 200. It doesn't have to be rocket science. We don't have to time perfect tops. We don't have to time perfect bottoms. We just have to know where the market wants to go and then take advantage when it does. And for me, there's a little bit lower. Okay, 60 to 50K. Does it go a little bit lower than that? Possibly. Does it short? Does it not go as low as 60K? Maybe it doesn't extend that low. Possibly. But I know that the next move is down. So when the price starts moving down, I take advantage of it. I buy, and then what do I expect next? Well, my next expectation based on Elliott Wave theory is price goes up, and I'm targeting 150 to 200, which is a 3x from the bottom. I'll take advantage of that. That's a great opportunity. So you don't have to time market tops. You don't have to time market bottoms. You just have to be on the right end of the trade. Let me see. Ivan. Oh, what's up, Ivan? I didn't start the stream with those nanograms or whatever you said. I'll have to do that later because I can't figure those things out worth a damn. You think Bitcoin is still going to go to 74 short term and then drop? I think so. Yeah, I mean, based on the daily chart, if we look at the daily, like for me, this is just a complex 4 right now because we have this A wave, we have this B wave, and then this looks to be a developing A, B, and then C wave. So somewhere maybe 70, maybe 74, if I had to guess, because on the 4-hour chart, on this initial A wave, it was an A, a B, and a C. So we had a 3-wave movement for the A. On the smaller time frame of this B, it was a complex like A, B, C, D, E structure going down. And then this structure developing right now looks like an A, B, and then we should see a bounce C. And then once that happens, I'm expecting lower. But I'm not trying to time it. I'm not really trying to trade any of this right now. I'm just waiting patiently for the drop. And then once the drop comes in, then I'll, make my decision and dollar cost average. Let me see. Anthony, what's going on, man? How are you doing? I've had a good day so far. How's your day been? Do you have any alerts? When you say alerts, do I have like alerts on the chart, or are you saying like, do I have alerts in terms of like the typical Discord alert where like I give buy and sell signals? I guess is that what you're asking? User said, "I never work again if I was as good as you with TI." That's the dream, man. That is the dream. I mean, I am working towards that. I'm trying. It takes time, right? There's no get rich quick scheme, but I am working towards that is my goal. That is my dream. It's being able to do this full time. One, from being on TikTok live and being able to stream and all this stuff, but also being able to do full, like this is my dream, is to do this full time. So I'm working towards it. Not there yet, but that with this skill set, I do believe that I can turn this into a full-time thing. So I agree with you there. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Do you think there's a potential at going to 35K? In my opinion, no, and I'll show you why. So, I mean, it could, but for the way that the structure's looking right now, like if we look at it from a total weekly standpoint, we have, let me make sure everything gets in here. So from a weekly standpoint, let me clear up some of this chart. From a weekly standpoint, we have this B wave, right? And in my analysis, this is an expanding flat B. So after that comes the wave 5. Now, for the wave 5, we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we're in the 5. Okay, great. Now, how can we use some confluences to determine where this bottom is going to be for this wave 5? Well, there's rules around that. You take this tool right here, which is called the fib retracement, and you take it from the bottom of wave 3 to the top of wave 4. So if you've been following me now since December, you would know exactly what my targets were back then based on what the price action was suggesting. And the reason, let me move these on the left side, hold on, so you can see it. So the reason that I was saying 80 to 70K was a bottoming zone for Bitcoin back in December, and this was months ago, was because of this right here. So once you get a 3 to a 4, your bottom target is the 1.618. So back in December, I was saying anywhere from 80 to 70K. So basically from the 1 to the 1.618. That was my initial target for this wave. Where's the paintbrush? For this final dump right here. My initial target back in December was 80 to 70K because of this fib retracement. Okay, now, obviously price action has developed. And I was saying that back in December too. I said, well, it could be 80 to 70K. I'm using this as a guide. I know that price wants to go lower. I don't exactly know where it's going to bottom until price action comes about. Okay, boom. Now we have some price action. Now let's go to the daily time frame. So when we're on the daily time frame, we can look at what we currently have. So what do we currently have? Well, of this wave, this is the top of the wave 4, by the way, right here. This is the top of the wave 4. So based on this structure, well, we had a wave 1 and a wave 2. And then we had a wave 3, and we're in the 4 right now. So what I'm thinking using Elliott wave rules is this. Is using the same strategy, taking the fib retracement, let me put it in a chart for you, taking the fib retracement, taking it from the bottom of wave 3, and then I'm predicting that Bitcoin probably tops out maybe 73K. Well, guess what? Here are my zones, 60K to 50K. And you guys have heard me say that now for weeks. 60 to 50K becomes my bottoming zone. Why? Because of this right here. And this is a little bit easier because I'm not trying to predict the entire wave. I'm just trying to predict the sub wave 5 of the larger wave 5. So back in this time frame, let me get this in a chart. Back in this time frame of the wave 4, I was trying to predict the entire bottom of this huge wave 5. However, I didn't know this wave 5 would get pretty explosive. And what do I mean by that? Well, we had, let me move this. We had a wave 1, which was a pretty decent wave 1. It wasn't explosive. Then we had a wave 2, and then we had this huge wave 3 drop. I wasn't predicting that we would get an extended wave 3, but price can do that. Then we're in the 4, and we should get a 5. For me, 60 to 50K remains my target. Can we go lower than that? Sure, but we can also short it too, because if price goes up to 73, and then we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down lower than 60, that's totally fine too. So for me, that's why I'm saying right now 60 to 50K, because as price action is developed, this is what I'm going off of. I can never predict to 100% certainty what price can do. It's just a matter of predicting where this next move is going to be. And for me, that was always down. So for me, yeah, 35K, I don't really see 35K being a, I mean, could it? But that would mean we extend really far. That would mean we would have to get a super extended wave 5. I mean, we would have to extend all the way down to the 2.618, which would be a super extension wave 5. So I don't necessarily see that. And even with this too, and I'll show you another thing that I was doing during this initial wave, is I was taking this tool right here. It's called the trend-based fib extension. I was taking this from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1 to the top of wave 2. And my target, again, when this price action develops, which was also further confluence of my previous wave 4, is, I'll show you. Hold on. So, oh wait, let me move this into screen. So when we had this initial wave 4, right, with the fib retracement, I was targeting anywhere between 80 to 70K, right? That was my initial target. Then, what did we get? We got this initial wave 1 with a wave 2. Okay, the next target for this wave 3 lower was 73K. And I was like, okay, we'll bottom at 73K for the wave 3. We'll get a bounce, and then we'll target 70K for the absolute bottom. However, what did price do? Well, price shot through my target all the way down to the 2.618 at like 60K. Then we're getting the bounce. So I can never predict it 100% to the absolute dollar amount. I can just use Elliott wave rules as a guide of where price high probability wants to go. And for me, that was the 1.618 for this wave 3. We just overshot it to the 2.618, and then now we're retracing for the wave 4. So I'm still expecting a wave 5. I don't see 35K on the table, though. That's just my opinion. Just take out a 100K loan in full port. Man. Yeah, ChatGPT still thinks it's going to go up still. Yeah, I mean, that's for me. I'm still expecting a little bounce up to this region and then a dump. Discord, I don't have any Discords yet. I don't do, at least at this point, I don't have any like coaching programs, alerts, signals, anything like that. For me, I use Elliott Wave theory more on a longer time frame, meaning I try to identify zones of buying for, holding for 1, 2, 3, multiple years. I don't really trade on shorter time frames. Can I? Sure. I just don't necessarily have the time to do it. In terms of like, checking charts constantly every single hour to get in, get out. I mean, maybe down the line I'll do like, some sort of, I don't know if it would be alerts. I don't know if that would be it. Like, I'm not really interested in doing any like day trading stuff or like, hey, we're going to, trade the 4 hour, we're going to trade the 15-minute. That just, for me personally, that doesn't work with my personality. I don't like looking at the chart constantly. I like to trade on monthly time frames and do more investing because I can take advantage of these larger swings as opposed to just capitalizing on short gains. Like for me, with Bitcoin right now, like, getting in at 55K, if that's where we bottom, to 200, that's a 4X. I'd rather chase a 4X than trying to chase, a $10 to $20 gain on the 4 hour. That's just me personally. And you get more, you get bigger swings. You don't get stopped out. You're not taking leverage plays. I'm not really interested in leverage. Like, I don't really do any of that type of stuff. I'm more of a long-term investor and trying to identify charts that look attractive to buy and then hold for 1, 2, 3 years. Educate the youth on money. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I was a financial advisor for 3 years, so I've learned a thing or two back from my advising days. Matt said copy trade on Dub, you'd get followers. I mean, I'm not really interested in that, to be honest. Like, I was telling everyone yesterday in the live, like, I don't do this for the validation or the followers or the money. Like, I just do it for the love of the game. I love charting. I love investing. I just love it. And I also love community too. Like, I love talking with you guys and having, a good old time on TikTok and just conversing. Like, that's just the two things that I love. I like a community and I like charting. So I thought, okay, let me start posting content on charting and then let me do a TikTok live stream and hang out with you guys. And then also do some teaching, coaching, things like that. I mean, maybe in the future I'll do some type of alert thing, but I think for me, that'll be more of like, hey, here's my current portfolio type thing. Like, hey, I just bought Bitcoin right now, here, and it'll send an alert to you guys saying like, hey, Nick just bought Bitcoin. Okay, now it's, could that be a good time for me to buy based on my analysis? Again, that'd be up to your discretion, but I think maybe something like that. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to start doing like more long form YouTube analysis. So taking assets like Bitcoin or MSTR or Coinbase or just all different types of charts and doing like a 20-minute video on it and doing a deep dive on like the monthly time frame, the short time frame, all that stuff. So I think starting with that and then maybe moving into some level of coaching in the future, I think is maybe something I'll do, but just not at this point. Schools don't teach them. Yeah, school doesn't teach this shit. What if Bitcoin doesn't go to 72K and just topped already at previous price? I mean, we can look at that too. So if price does, say for example, we are in the wave 5, which I don't think we're in yet, just because this price action doesn't look impulsive for it to be a wave 5 yet. That's just, I'm not really seeing that on the chart, to be honest. I'm seeing more of a corrective structure. But for hypotheticals, if price was to stay where it's at, say we topped out here, say we topped out here and this truly is the start, it doesn't change my targets. It's still 60 to 50K. It's still in that range. Carlo, what's going on? What's going on, Carlo? Thank you for joining the live again. Oh, wait, I got to catch up on some of this stuff. Hold on. So are we still going to drop? Alts will continue to drop. Also, I'm buying at 55K. Healthcare, what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm still expecting a lower low. Where's my paintbrush? So I'm expecting an A, B, C movement up for a wave 4, somewhere around 70 to 75, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down for this wave 5 in the region of 60 to 50K. That's sort of my next movement. And I haven't changed that, no. So I'm still expecting lower in the 60 to 50K region. And then once we get there, for me, that's the bottom, and then we start going up. Ivan, for me, it's another drop. Thank you, Ivan, for catching up on the chat while I was distracted by my rant. I appreciate that. If you could put 10K in one altcoin, where would you where would you for a safe 10x? So that's the thing. Honestly, MSTR, that's where I put it. Based on the chart right now, MSTR looks bullish as shit. Like if we were just looking at MSTR because Kush over on YouTube had a question on MSTR, so we were diving into MSTR. For me, these are the next targets for MSTR based on what the chart is suggesting. It's very similar to Bitcoin. And for me, the next target's 950, and it's gonna. And for me, I have one more leg lower on MSTR between like 100. I think it was between $100 and $80. So anywhere between the $80 to $100 range is a good bottoming for MSTR, and the next targets on that's 950. So that's a 10x right there. So for me, I think MSTR looks good. I think SUI looks pretty good, but it's hard to tell based on. Like, I can give you a chart like this. There's no guarantee price is going to hit there, but I will say MSTR looks pretty good. Chainlink looks pretty good too. Let me see. Could you look into F and tell me where the last bounce is so I can learn how you see this? Yeah, we can go to F. Yeah, we can go to F. Waiting for that $6 Chainlink. We did Chainlink. I can't remember what I did the video of Chainlink the other day. But we can go into, let's go into F and then we'll jump over to Chainlink. Let me go to the daily. So for Ethereum, I still have same, you can see on Ethereum, it looks like the same structure. Like we basically have this big, this movement up and then this movement down. For me, it's kind of the same as Bitcoin, then we have one more leg lower. And for me, let me get this in the screen here. For Ethereum, I still have somewhere around, where's the low? There we go. If we get a little bit of a bounce here, somewhere at like the 1700 to 1500 range for Ethereum, that's sort of my bottoming zone. And we can't go below this this right here. So price cannot retrace lower than 1385. Oh, it's not in screen. Hold on. If price retraces lower than this right here, that means this wave count is off. So my next targets for Ethereum are between 1700 and 1500 for a bottom. And as long as we don't retrace lower than 1385, this wave count is valid. So that would be my next target for Ethereum. And then we can go to Chainlink as well. Yeah, F will be a lot of altcoins look so similar to Bitcoin in the sense that they should start bottoming soon. Mr. Carlo, see you again. Did you leave already, Mr. Carlo? Are you still in here? Yeah, so for Ethereum, I have the next target being, hold on. So let me get the trend-based fib extension here. Let me get everything into play. So for this is the micro wave 1 of the macro wave 3. My next target for Ethereum is 7,500, but basically between 5,400 to 7,500. That's my next target for this wave 3 for Ethereum. Tau, we can look at Tau. Yeah. Oh, VeChain. I got to do VeChain. Yeah, sorry about that, Sonny. I know you mentioned that. Let's do VeChain first. How about this? What do you think of this? VeChain, Chainlink, and then Tau. Let me get a vote in the chat if that's how you guys want to do it. VeChain, Chainlink, Tau. How does that sound? Yes. Okay, we got one. We got one for yes. Okay. All right. Raj was in. All right. Is that Bill? I'm just gonna call you Bill because I can't pronounce the rest of that. Bill. Okay. Bill's in. Yes. Ivan said fine. Sonny's got hearts. All right. We're gonna do that then. Let's go to VeChain. Let me go to crypto. Where's the one I like? VeChain, USD. I think this one has the entire chart on it. I think everything. Yeah, I think this is the VeChain chart. Let me go to monthly. I think this is the whole VeChain chart. If I'm being, I think this is the whole chart, right? Because it launched in 2018. Kind of dumped, then it went up, then we have this structure right here. I think that's the whole VeChain chart. Okay, so this looks to be, and we're going to dive into it. This is the monthly time frame. Stereograms after. Yeah, we're gonna finish the stream with stereograms. If you don't know what those are, you're in for a treat. Ivan has been sending me stereograms all day yesterday, and I have no idea what the fuck they are. So we're gonna do stereograms to finish out the stream tonight, and I think it's gonna be hilarious because I want to see if y'all can get the image in it. It's really cool. But we'll end with that. All right, so hold on. You're getting me off topic. I'm gonna be. all right. Y'all are getting me distracted. Hold on. All right, so VeChain, looking at the monthly time frame, it does look like we have an impulsive one, and we're in the 2 right now. Now, let's dive into both of them to see what we're working with. So I always start with the monthly, identify big swing highs and big swing lows. And for me, this looks like a wave 1, and this looks like a wave 2. The only way we're going to be able to determine that is if we go into the smaller time frame and see what's going on. So I jump from the monthly to the weekly. Now let's analyze just this impulsive wave right here. Oh wait, no. Can I get that all in? Okay, so let's analyze this. Now, this could be a wave 1, a wave 2. This could be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 with a 4 here and a 5. Okay, so that works. Or this could be a wave 1 with a wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and an extended 5. Okay, so either way, no matter how you slice it, this is a wave 1. It just depends on how you want to do your wave count. It could be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a 1. This could be a 2. Then you have a 1, 2, 3. Or wait, I overshot it. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 3, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave. Okay, so that's a wave 1. We don't really need to dive too much onto that. The fact that that's a wave 1, phenomenal. So let's dive into wave 2. Now on the wave 2, let me get this in the chart here. Is that all in? Yeah, okay. So on the wave 2, okay, so on the wave 2, it looks like we have an A, a B, and then this C wave down, which looks to end here. So we have an ABC down, which is good. This can't be an impulsive wave because we corrected lower than that, so that can't be valid. Actually, let me move this a little bit over here. So this to me looks like an A, B, C wave down for an A. Then this is an A wave, B wave, C wave of a B, and then we're in the last leg. So we basically have something like this. Hold on. Is this all the way up? Okay, hold on. Then we have, where's that? Okay, here we go. We have an A wave down here, B wave up here, and then we're in the C. Let me change those colors so you can see that. So basically we have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. Now we got to analyze of this C wave, where are we at with the C wave? So let's jump into the probably daily chart for this, but let's look into the weekly first, see if we can gather some information. So we're in the C wave, and of this C wave, it almost looks like we have an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the 5. So that's good. Now let's go to the daily. I'm going to label this out just so I can look at it on the daily. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let me label that in yellow. And then let's go down to the daily. And let's analyze the daily. Okay, so of the wave 1, we do have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That price overlap? Yeah, so maybe this is a 1, a 2, a 3. No, because that price overlaps. 1, 2, 3. I bet if I looked on it on the smaller time frame, it would probably be even easier to see. I mean, the count makes sense because you have a 1 here, a 2 here, and this is like a complex like A, B, C, D, E structure, and then we have this impulsive wave down. Then we have an A, B. Oh, wait, am I still on here? Yeah. Then we have an A, B, C, and then we have another A, B, C, D, E kind of structure here for the 4. And then we have a wave 5. See, these big liquidation candles on that one date throw me off because some charts have them, some charts don't. But it almost looks like we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a 1. Then we have a 2. Then we have 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. Then the 4. Then we're in the 5 leg. And then of the 5 leg, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so there's one leg lower on it looks like one leg lower on VeChain. Say we get the bounce with Bitcoin. Somewhere between like 0.006 and 0.005. I know that's a massive range, but again, we're not going to be able to determine what that is going to be until we start seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down. But we should bottom soon in kind of tandem with Bitcoin based on what I'm seeing on the weekly and monthly. Now, if we bottom soon, how high can it go? That's what I'm about to look at right now. So as long as price doesn't retrace lower than this low, which honestly, I don't see it doing that, the targets for VeChain based on this wave 1, and then we're in the 2, and I do think that VeChain and most altcoins are going to bottom here soon with Bitcoin. Once that happens, we'll get the impulsive waves up. So you guys know from yesterday, like this chart is more clean than AVAX. When we were looking, remember how just choppy AVAX was yesterday? Charts like this is what I typically shoot for when I'm trying to invest in something. Is be like when you're looking at charts that are very choppy, you can't really determine the structure. It makes choosing to invest in that token or that project or that stock very complex and challenging because you don't have a lot of clear indication of what wave it's in, where we're at, things like that. So tokens like this and project like this are a little bit cleaner and it makes it easier to analyze. But based on where we're at right now, say we bottom at, I don't know, 0.0057, just as a hypothetical, the next target for VeChain would be, that's not even in chart, hold on. So based on what we're looking at with VeChain right now, we had an impulsive wave 1, we're in the 2, should bottom based on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure down. The next target for VeChain is anywhere between like 30 cents to 43 cents. That would be my next target for VeChain based on ending between the 1 and the 1.618. Could we extend to the 2 or 2.618? Sure. But based on the rules of Elliott wave theory, the next target's about 40 cents. Is that a 30x from here? What is that? 43 cents divided by 0.00, what did I say? What was the potential bottom? 0.0057. I think that's more than a 30x. But yes, a potential. That's a big gain. Yeah, that's like a 70x. That's actually insane. Now let me just preface this first. Before you guys go getting euphoric on me and before you mortgage your house and dump every single bit of your life savings into this, remember this. What? I'm all in. What? Hold on. Remember, 200K into VeChain. I'm putting my life savings. Hold on. Time out. I'm calling a timeout. Hold on. Remember, we got to take our emotions out of trading and investing. Too late, bro. It's already in. Again, what Elliott wave theory? What's the I just sold my soul for capital. All right. So, all right, fuck it. Everything's out the door. We're putting our entire life savings in VeChain. But okay, hold on. Again, we got to calm ourselves down because again, remember what Elliott Wave theory is geared for. Yes, can we use it as a guide? Remember, a guide. Let me spell that on the chart. Let me spell that on the chart. A guide. It's a guide. Let me spell that on the chart. I'm rich, meet you in Aruba. Alright, y'all are too much. Y'all are too much. Don't forget, this is not an educational video. This is pure excellence right here. Limit order is in. Alright. Time out. Now we've had our fun. Remember, this is a guide. This is not perfection. And what Elliott Wave theory is geared for is higher market cap tokens, less volatility. While we can use it for tokens like this and smaller cap tokens, again, as a guide, there is potential for this one. So I actually might buy some too. Fuck it, I'm in. I will I will post a video of me buying VeChain tomorrow because fuck it, we ball. I mean, this is a potential opportunity right here, and we're all going to Aruba thanks to Sunny. I'd gamble a K on it. All in, everyone. Chat, we got to go all in. But again, it is a guide. The fact, like, Elliott Wave theory is more geared towards, like, again, tokens, projects, stocks that have, 5, 10 years of price history with less volatility to determine, swings. That's what it's geared for. While it can be used for things like this, it is a guide. Do I think it could potentially work? I mean, if it follows the rules of Elliott Wave theory, which most charts do, and you can see it very clearly on a lot of charts, the next target is 43 cents for VeChain. Vitho follows VeChain, so we were good. I got both. Yeah, I don't have any VeChain, but I know they have a lot of partnerships, at least from a fundamental standpoint. I think after looking at this chart, I'm going to go buy some VeChain, to be honest, because if this thing bottoms and targets this 1.6, it's really going to be determining on this, right? It's really going to be what happens off the lows. Remember, we were looking at Cardano yesterday. Does price move in a 5-wave movement up? Do we get a 3-wave movement? Then we get another 3-wave movement down. So it's really going to be determined on how price reacts off the bottom. But using Elliott Wave theory and using the rules of Elliott Wave theory as a guide, the next target is between 30 cents and 43 cents for VeChain, yes. Like Sunny said, all-time high is 28 cents, even that is over 30x. Yeah, exactly. So that's why with like these explosive waves like this, with a wave 1, we're in the 2 and with the 3, the wave 3 does target the 1.618, and it typically, the wave 3 is the wave that typically extends the most. So if we're going to see an extension, it's going to be in this next wave up. We could see 53 cents. We could even see 70 cents. So don't put it off the table. But for VeChain, yes, the next target is 43 cents, which so graciously chat wanted to see was around an 80x. So maybe we can all be rich and afford an island. I may put $100 in it. I'm researching it with Claude. All-time high at $5. Was it all-time high $5? No, there's no way. There's no way. Oh, are you sure about that, Ivan? Because I'm seeing all-time high was 28 cents. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if $5. Maybe that's the UK USD conversion. Maybe the mix-up. But yeah, if you go back to all-time high, which if you're using this as a strategy, you could establish, you could do something like this, which may not be a bad idea. You could have, let me move some of this stuff. You could have levels to take profit. You could have a level at this level to take profit. Then you could have, a level at the all-time high to take profit. Then you could have another level at the 1.618 to take profit. Because even from here to the wave B top, what's that? 0.07. So say we go 0.07 divided by 0.0057. That's still a 12x from the low to the top of wave B. So even if we get a bounce, say we don't get this, say just hear me out here. say we get, instead of, kind of what we were going through yesterday with Cardano and the further corrected movement, say for example we don't get the 1 2 3 4 5 movement off the low and we get some level of like an A B C bounce, which would mean this would be the A B C of the X, this would be the A B C of the Y, and then we get an A B C of, or no, this would be the A B C of the W, this would be the A B C of the X, and then this would be the A B C of the Y. Even if we get that bounce, we should extend higher than this B, so that's even a 12x. So regardless of how you want to play it, whatever price does off of this low, if we get a 1 2 3 4 5 movement up, then my next target is 43 cents. But if you want to be conservative and have price levels to take a little bit of profit, take some money, put it back in your pocket, price target level 1 could be here, price target level 2 could be here, and then price target level 3 could be at the 1.618. That's how you could play it if you want to maximize your potential gain, but also minimize risk. Because again, smaller market cap tokens, you never really know. But based on VeChain, it's been around since 2018 is when the token was launched. So it has some price history behind it. We got some, partnerships. We have some good fundamentals. But I do think that this is what's next for VeChain. I know most of the coins have been unlocked. I know most of the coins have been unlocked since all-time high. Not sure if that plays a factor. I know most of the coins have been unlocked. I think that does, because then you don't get a dilution of token supply. I know that there's other tokens that, like, as price is going up, they'll just unleash supply, and then it's honestly just like the basics of supply and demand. If you have like a bigger supply of something and less demand, obviously the price will reflect that. But if all the tokens are out, then there really should be no issue in that hurting the token as it goes up. But if we get an impulsive move, this thing could fly. So I might actually, looking at this chart, I didn't look at VeChain in a while. I just haven't looked at it because I've been so focused on other tokens. I might throw some money in VeChain, to be honest. We are going to be everyone's exit liquidity, or what is the opposite? Whatever I'm trying to say. I'm driving now, so just not listening. So I'm just listening. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're basically saying you want to be on the other end of it, meaning we're buying in when the token's undervalued, and then we're selling into them, aka they're the exit liquidity for us. I think that's what you're trying to say. Okay, so we did VeChain. What was the next one? VeChain, was it Ethereum? Was Ethereum the next one? I thought it was Ethereum, right? We are all going to be Link. Thank you. We did F. Yeah, we did F. So okay, it was VeChain, Chainlink, and then there was one more. I can't remember. Rashid, what are the chances that Bitcoin and Ethereum are already bottom? Ivan said 0. I have to agree. I think that we still have one more leg lower. Based on what I'm looking at on the chart, we're still due for one leg lower. I know that there was people, which it's not necessarily not a valid theory, but I was having some people comment on just my videos across all the social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. And a couple people were saying, because we were talking about narratives, someone was asking me a question like, hey, do you think this narrative can affect price? For me, again, you guys know my stance on this. I trade on Elliott Wave theory, and then for me, the news is an after effect. And what typically happens is you get these downward price action, and everyone blames it on the news as opposed to what the chart was saying. So there was people suggesting that like the US will bomb Iran, and that will be like the negative news that will bring the price down for the wave 5. There was another one about I think they're supposed to, I don't know what the timetable is on this, but I think they're supposed to vote on whether Trump's tariffs are illegal or not. And if they vote them illegal, that could be a negative news story, which could, fuel the leg 5 down. Either way, there's potential, and I don't trade based on the news. The one with China that I sent you, yeah, that could be something too. Like, there's all these news articles out there that are like, that could potentially do something, but just looking at the pure technicals of it, we're still due for one leg down. So let's jump over to Link. Let's go to the Link. All right, so monthly chart. I think everything's the same for Link right here. I think I still have everything saved from the last time we looked at Link, because we looked at it last week. nothing's changed for Link. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up for an initial wave 1. Then we've had an A, B, C corrective down. And then we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4 vibe moving up. For me, that was wave one of the larger wave 3. So we should see wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then a wave 5. My next targets for Link are between $60 to $90. Those are my next targets. Again, using the trend-based fib extension from the bottom of wave 1 to the top, then to the bottom of wave 2. The reason why this isn't, for me, looking like other structures where like a lot of the other altcoins have these A, B, and then these C structures, for me, Link just had an impulsive move off the low. You can see it on the weekly chart. We have a 5-wave move right here, which is not, for me, that's an impulse off of these lows. Whereas some of the other altcoins had like this ABC structure, then they had this B bounce, and then they had, you've seen it now because we dived into VeChain, where it looks like that. We have a, correction down, then a bounce, and then it went lower than the 2022 lows, which for me, that means the move off of these lows wasn't a impulse, it was a bounce. And so far with Chainlink holding above 2022 lows, for me, that's an impulsive 1, and we're in this complex 2, and we should see a bounce 3, then we should see a 4, and then we should see a 5. Somewhere in the range of $60 to $90 is my next target for Chainlink. But let me know if you have any questions on Chainlink. For me, these altcoins are all following Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin bottoms, altcoins will bottom, and then we'll start impulsing up. I'm not trying to time perfect bottoms for altcoins or Bitcoin. All these levels are honestly pretty decent. Once Bitcoin starts its final leg down, we should get some lower entries on altcoins. And at that point in time, that would be good opportunity to dollar cost average in on the way down and then prepare for the next move up. The Bitcoin dominance. We can look at the Bitcoin dominance. I haven't honestly looked at the Bitcoin dominance in a while, so we can do that. But before I move off of Chainlink, any questions on Chainlink, or does this look pretty clear? But Chainlink, for me, $60 to $90, given the structure, is definitely feasible. I think VeChain just seems incredible. The fact that it could 70x from here based on the chart is truly just incredible to me. I would love to see that. I would love to see us all load up on VeChain and get absolutely rich off one token. That'd be honestly really cool. But Chainlink's been around since 2018 too, so you have a clear impulse to move up with this correction. Mortgage time, yeah. Let me go take out a $100,000 loan from the bank and dump it all into VeChain. And then when I get rich, then we can do this full time and I don't have to worry about anything else. All right, so we did Link, we did VeChain. What was the other one that we were going to look at? Chainlink at $8 makes us rich. Yeah, I mean, Chainlink from here's the even if it goes lower to like 7, like that $7 to $8 range, it's still a 10x, 12x potential from here, which is a great. I'm in on Chainlink around $7, I think, is my entry. I bought here. I'll zoom in on it. I bought around here on Chainlink. Here. Where's I think I bought here at like $7.50. That's where I got in August of 2023 is when I bought Chainlink. I could have sold the high here and made like a 3x, but for me, I was playing for the big gain, not the short gain, and then trying to time it back in. I was playing for the long game. But yeah, for $60 to $90 is my wave 3 target. Is that for wave 3 or 5? $69 for wave 3 or 5? I mean, no, for that's the larger wave 3. So let me zoom out again. So let me move some of this stuff on the chart, or let me clear out some of this stuff. So for me, this is what hold on, let me shrink it a little bit more. So this is what I have for Chainlink, and let me move this too. This is the wave 1. This was the 2, sorry. And then the 3 should come between like $60 to $90. Then we'll get a 4 somewhere to like, I don't know. It has to stay above all-time high. So what's the all-time high? $53. So maybe we get a pullback to 57 and then one more impulse up. But we could extend, we could go to, say we go to 100, then we pull back to 65, and then we get one more pump up. But for me, the next target for the wave 3, like the big wave 3, is $60 to $90. Or wait, hold on. Let me make sure. Hold on. Yeah, $60 to $90 is the next target for the wave 3. And then on the mini wave 3, which I can do now, is, let me move some of this out of the way. So of the mini wave 3, which is what we're in now, so we have the wave 1, then we have this mini wave 3. The next target for the mini wave 3 is somewhere at like $36 to $43, somewhere in that range. And then we should get, basically it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll get the top of the wave 3. But $60 to $90 is my next target for this wave 3. Let's see. I dollar cost average around 875. I will be by a lot. Yeah, I mean, Chainlink looks really good. I think from a fundamental standpoint too, they already have a lot of stuff in play from a fundamental standpoint. I know they've gotten a couple partnerships and they're helping with a lot of stuff. So from a fundamental standpoint, it looks pretty good, but from a technical standpoint, it also looks very good. And the token's been around for a really long time, since 2018, so it has some validity behind it. And that's what I like to see with charts is, I know we'll have a lot, like Ondo, for example. We looked at the other day, the token came out like 2 years ago, and it has like no price action to go off of. So when you're looking at it, you can't really use Elliott Wave Theory as a guide, because when you're looking at Ondo, I'm going to go to the next chart, but I just want to show you what I mean. Like when you're looking at Ondo on a monthly time frame, like you can't, there's nothing you can do with this. Like you can't analyze this because there's no impulse, there's no structure. It's just corrective. So when I look at charts, while Ondo is a good project, I would wait until it has a solidified move where we have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. And then once we see that, then I would wait for the ABC correction down and then start buying it and then target the up play. But until then, it's just, you can't really, like, that's what's hard about new token launches, is they don't have price history to go off of. And not that you're gambling, like you're really not. Like there are some good projects you can get in on early, but that's not my strategy. I don't like to get in on token launches. I don't like to get in on projects that are brand new. I like to invest in projects that have price history and have been around for a while, because I can use Elliott Wave Theory to guide me of where the potential next place that price wants to go will be. I'm in at 15. Yeah, $15 I think for Chainlink's a great opportunity. That should be like a 7-8x from the bottom. What was the next chart? Let me scroll up here. So we did VeChain, we did Chainlink. Tau. That was it. Tau. There we go. Okay, let's look at Tau. And then after we look at Tau, we're going to jump over to... where's the spot one that I like? Does Coinbase have all the price action? Okay, well that's messy. That doesn't have nothing. Is there a chart on Tau that has all the price action on it? Maybe it's USDT. Nope, that one doesn't show anything. Maybe KuCoin? No. Gate's got a little bit more price action. I have to go, brother. Appreciate you looking at VeChain. God bless. God bless you too. I will, if you come back, I'll be on live tomorrow, so feel free to join. But yes, absolutely. VeChain looks, I got some good laughs on it. I honestly haven't, that was good. I love, I'm probably going to buy some VeChain, so you might see that on the channel tomorrow, because it looks very good. I'll buy it on the way down for sure, like once we get the last dip. Again, with Tau, glad to hear it. Yeah, VeChain looks really good. I'm trying to find the chart that has all these charts just show all this choppiness. Is there a chart that I should be looking at that contains all the price action? Is VeChain cheating on Robinhood? Honestly, I don't know. I buy all my coins on Coinbase. That's where I typically buy them. For for me, that's just the easiest. And then I have a hardware wallet, which I don't know if I have it up here, but I transfer all my stuff to a hardware wallet. Yeah, I don't really see everything on Tau right now is just, every chart that I pull up, it just looks like this. Yeah, that's the one that I have. I have Tangem. I love Tangem. It's probably the easiest hardware wallet that I know of. And there was like a lot of stuff a couple years ago about, what was the one? Ledger, that was like having security breaches and shit. So I avoided Ledger. I didn't like the Trezor one, but Tangem's the easiest because this is just that card. And you just tap into your phone, you can view your entire crypto portfolio right there, which is awesome. And I think since 2018 or some shit, like the past 10 years, they've had 0 security breaches and 0 anything. And you own your keys. There's no backup server, nothing. So it's definitely, for me, the highest security cold wallet. So if you're interested in that, Tangem is a great option. I think it's like $100 for the cold storage wallet. Hope they add a bit more staking. Yeah, it's a good point. That is a good point. But yeah, as far as the user interface and the ease of use, I love it. Is it because you're on weekly for Tau? I'm on monthly for Tau. Maybe that's why. Let me go to daily. Even that, I mean, look at that. That's the daily chart on this one. Unless when we go to the spot Binance, I mean, that's the Binance one. The only one that I'm able to find is was it the KuCoin? No, it wasn't the KuCoin one. The Gate. On Gate, this is what this one looks like on the daily. This is the only one I've been able to find that has like the low down here, like $20. I mean, technically, but again, this is more of a stretch. It's not a stretch for Elliott Wave Theory. Like, you can still use it, but what Elliott Wave Theory is more geared towards, I can't preface this enough, because Elliott Wave Theory is geared for tokens, stocks, things that have a long price history, because you have an established market, you have established liquidity in the project, you have established like trading volume, and you just have a lot of price history to go off of. Whereas like new tokens like this, like Tau just launched in 2024 or 2023, almost 2024, which, you know, it's only 2 years old. Can you still use it as a guide? Yes, but you can't really use it as a guide for long-term investing because it doesn't necessarily have enough price history to go off of. Like, you look at all of these, MSTR, a lot of price history. Bitcoin, a lot of price history. Ethereum, a lot of price history. Even Link has a lot of price history. For this, I mean, you do technically have a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So technically that is a wave 1, and we're in this like A, B, C, D, E type structure. So technically speaking for Tau, but again, I think this would be more of a stretch of using what Elliott Wave Theory is for. I think it's geared more towards like established projects, but for a guide, you can still use it. And for the low here at, what's that, $20 to the high, and of this complex structure, I mean, the next target is in the thousands for Tau, based on what this price is showing, is anywhere between like $900 and $1,300 for Tau. Like, that's the next price target for Tau. Now, I say that with a grain of salt because, again, the use of Elliott Wave Theory is more for established, longer price history projects. You can still use it as a guide for this. I mean, we do have, it's not that we can't. Like, we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. So that is a wave 1, and then we're in the wave 2, and we should see a wave 3 to the 1.618, which is right at $1,300, which is almost a 10x from the bottom. So, and I like Tau from a fundamental standpoint too. I know that like Tau is supposed to be like the AI of like a super AI thing. I've seen things of it. So I think from a fundamental standpoint, it looks good. So I don't know. I mean, Tau looks pretty good. I think if I were to put my money anywhere, and this is again my opinion, because the point of investing is to make high confidence, high probability decisions. Like, that's the whole point of investing, right? It's where do I want to put my money? Do I think the position's undervalued? Is it following Elliott wave theory? Can I see 5 clear up waves? Can I see a corrective wave 2? Okay. Where do I want to put my money? Do I feel more confident in putting my money in Tau that's been around for 2 years? Or do I feel more confident in putting my money in VeChain that we just saw that has price history back to 2018? Again, you kind of get to pick and choose where you put your money. For me personally, I'd put it in VeChain. I'm saying that. Don't. I know you're going to put, well, VeChain probably has the higher X multiple. I'm saying that because it has longer price history. That's why I'm saying it. Or would I rather, out of these 3 options, this is what I'm going to say. Would I rather put my money in Tau right now, VeChain, or MSTR? For me personally, I would have higher confidence in MSTR just because it has longer price history and we have a lot of clear Elliott wave impulses and corrections on it. So for me, I'd have more confidence putting my money in MSTR. And based on the levels we looked at, it is still a 10x for the wave 3 from here. So for me, I'd feel more confident doing that. Can you put a little bit of money into BitTensor? Yeah, 100%. Tau looks great. I mean, based on the daily chart, it does look like it's moving pretty well and following the rules of Elliott wave theory. Only time is going to be able to determine, is this viable or is this not? But using the strategy and using the rules, like a little over $1,000 is the next target for Tau, which is a phenomenal trade opportunity. But the thing that I want to preface is I am a big believer of, like, I want to have fun, not have fun. I want to enjoy trading too. Like, I don't want to take the safe option. Like, I want to be able to put my money in, a Tau or a VeChain or things like that. I would say if you were going to allocate anywhere, I would do 50% of your position should be in like Bitcoin. Then another 30% of your position should be in Ethereum. That makes up 80%. Then put another 10% into major altcoins like Chainlink, Sui, like big market cap token. Call them the large caps. Do like 50% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, 10% in large caps, and then have fun with the rest of the other 10%. Or if you want to put 15% in large caps and then have fun with 5%, throw it into some shit meme coins, throw it into things that you have no business investing in with the high chance of hitting a huge X. Be my guest. I think proper diversification and risk management is the key to anything in life. So, and you want to have fun. If you want to throw it into Fartcoin just because you like Fartcoin, or throw it into some random meme coin, do a small percentage to have fun, but put your other large majority of your portfolio into high confidence positions like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and majors. So I hope that helps. I think for me, Tau, I wouldn't consider it a large cap yet just because it's not as new. But price action does suggest that we could go to $900 to $1,000 next. Let's see here. Do you think Bitcoin dominance going down soon, and will that help alts go up? Yeah, let's go over to Bitcoin dominance. Before I jump over to Bitcoin dominance, so any questions on Tau? Does all that make sense? Does my investing philosophy make sense? Or Bitcoin dominance is essentially looking at the entire crypto market and how much market share or how much market cap liquidity, or not liquidity. Bitcoin dominance is how much market cap Bitcoin is taking from the entire crypto space. So I'll show you what it means. I'll show you what it looks like. So if you look at Bitcoin dominance, I think it's .D. Is it .D? Yeah, market cap. So essentially what you're looking at is how much of the entire crypto space. What do I have? Why is TP drawn there? I think my next target for Bitcoin dominance is like 45%. But this is essentially taking the entire crypto space and seeing every single coin that is in there. What market cap does Bitcoin control of the entire crypto space? And right now, Bitcoin dominance is right around 58%. 58% is what it's at right now. Let me move it over. Let me get all the monthly. I can't even show that in there. I don't know how to get price, or I don't know how to get the price in the middle of the screen so you can see that. But this is essentially what the chart looks like of Bitcoin dominance. This is what it looks like. This is the whole chart that we have. Does that do something with price of Bitcoin? So essentially all this means is how much market share is Bitcoin taking up, and right now it's eating up 15% or 58% of the market. Typically what you see in altcoin season, or what people call altcoin season, is a huge dump in Bitcoin dominance, meaning altcoins are rising very rapidly compared to Bitcoin, and it's eating up or taking away a lot of the market share from Bitcoin. So you see a big dump in Bitcoin dominance, which you typically see in alt season. So like, for example, in 2017, when altcoins went parabolic, Bitcoin dominance dropped heavy. And then in 2021, the 2021 cycle, when altcoins went crazy, Bitcoin dominance dropped hard. So another indicator a lot of people like to use to see when altcoins are going to go crazy is what happens with Bitcoin dominance. And as soon as we get a top in Bitcoin dominance, when it dumps, that's typically when altcoins go crazy. And when Bitcoin dominance has these bottoms here, that's when usually the end of the cycle comes in. It's like, okay, Bitcoin's did its thing, and then altcoins do its thing, and then the cycle resets, and then Bitcoin does its thing, and then altcoins do their thing. Now, I haven't analyzed this with Elliott Wave theory, and I don't honestly know if it's even geared for that, to be honest. I don't know if that's what the purpose of Elliott Wave theory is, but technically we do have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5 right here on the 2018, and then we have this A, B, and then C structure, which is actually crazy to see on a Bitcoin dominance. Now, the only thing that we can look at, well, fuck it. Let's analyze it. Let's do it. Let's go to the weekly. Let me get this all on a chart. So on the Bitcoin dominance on the weekly, it does look like we have, we do have waves up. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So that's wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. This is the A wave, B wave, and then we should see a C wave. So technically we do look like we have topped in Bitcoin dominance, because we have this wave 1 here, this wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5. And then we should see an A, a B, and a C structure. So that's another further confluence of my thesis of why I think altcoins are going to start outperforming soon. The only thing with this is, let's see. So this looks like an A, a B, and a C wave. Then we have this A wave probably up here, B wave here, and then we're kind of just waiting to see what price does next. Either this was an A, B, and a C, and then we should see an A, B, C up, and then a dump. Either way, Bitcoin dominance for me is topped. Given it topped up here, we shouldn't see price push above that. We should see a dump. If this is truly an A wave, and then this is a B wave, we should see a C wave dump down. And we could correct, if this is a wave 1, this honestly looks like a wave 1, because, actually no, this was, hold on, 2, let me see something. We could correct this bit, where's my magnet? We could correct this move, because we're chopping around the 276. My targets usually on corrections like this are between the 0.5 and the 0.68. So we could correct somewhere around like 50%. Maybe go lower to the 45%, but somewhere in that like 50 to 45% range would be a good bottoming zone for Bitcoin dominance. But it definitely looks like it topped. We had a wave 1, and then we have this dump. So we should expect an A, B, and then a C correction down for sure. It's just a matter of how low it goes. It's the price action here doesn't really give me a really good story. Is it ready to break? GPT says it's ready. GPT says yes, you can use it. GPT says most likely wait for consolidation. Yeah, it looks. Let's go to the daily. Maybe the daily can give us some. Let me make sure I have everything in the screen here. Hold on a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. I mean, it honestly looks like a zigzag formation, which what you get in that is you get a 5-wave move down for the wave A, and then you get a 3-wave for the wave B, and then you get another 5-wave move down for the wave C. That's what a zigzag corrective movement looks like. So it honestly looks like Bitcoin dominance is doing a zigzag corrective format. And once we start seeing these impulsive waves to the downside, we'll be able to determine what a target would be for it. But we should see something like this, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement to the downside. And somewhere in the range of 50%, maybe we go to 45. But once we get this first impulsive 1, with a corrective 2, we can map out a 3, a 4, and then we can map out a 5, and then we can find a bottoming zone. But until then, it's still just kind of waiting in corrective mode. I do think that we do see something like this. So we have an A. Hold on. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A, which is part of the zigzag. Then it's almost like we have an A, B, and then maybe we get a bounce up C, because when Bitcoin starts its bounce, maybe we get a bounce and then we get a dump. But only time's going to be able to tell that. But it is close to kind of, diving, which is going to be nice because that's going to set us up perfectly for altcoin season and things of that matter. And then I did Bitcoin dominance. I did Tau. We did, what else did we do? We did Chainlink. We did MSTR, which actually looks pretty good. I will say MSTR looks very good. VeChain looked pretty attractive. I will say on this next leg lower, when we get some lower price action on Bitcoin and lower price action on altcoins, I'm gonna pick up some VeChain. It looks very attractive. Cardano, yeah, we can look at Cardano. I think I have all the stuff saved from Cardano. It honestly, for me, Cardano's still in corrective mode. It's in a corrective 2. Oop. Hold on. For me, it's still in a corrective 2. There really isn't any changes for Cardano. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up. We have this A wave, B wave, and then we're in the C wave. Very similar to VeChain, like we saw where we had this A wave, B wave, and then we're expecting a low for this C wave. Once this low comes in, then we should see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up to about $5. That's my next target on Cardano based on the price right now. We should see anywhere between like $3.30 to $5, maybe even an extension to $8. You think altcoin can ever surpass Bitcoin? Meaning, like, is there a specific altcoin that I think could ever surpass Bitcoin's market cap, or are you asking yes? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I think Bitcoin's the king, and while there may be other players, I don't think anything's ever going to surpass Bitcoin. I think the only likely player would be Ethereum. That would be the only likely player I think would have a chance of surpassing Bitcoin would be Ethereum, because of all the stuff that's embedded in it, all the development that's going on it. There's so many tokens built on top of it. But I don't think anything else operates like Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of people that try to be Bitcoin and try to replicate it, but I don't think anything, maybe something in the future, maybe XRP, because of all the works they're doing with the banks, but I don't see anything passing. I just don't see it. I don't know. There's just an appeal about Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't think, maybe one day in the future, Bitcoin will drop and F will be above it for a second. Yeah, possible. I mean, if Ethereum starts getting institutional adoption and starts really cranking it up, I mean, possible. Maybe XRP, because XRP's been around for a really long time and it's always stayed in the top 3. So, I mean, XRP could potentially do it. Maybe Ethereum. But yeah, I don't really see anything else. I think Bitcoin's going to be the standard, then everything else is kind of going to fall under it. That's just my opinion. But it would be really cool though if something surpassed Bitcoin. That would be crazy. That would honestly be such an interesting day if something passed Bitcoin in market cap. That would actually be insane. What time is it? 8 o'clock? Okay. Ivan coin, mark my words. I mean, we could cook up something on Pump Fun. Cook up an Ivan coin on Pump Fun. All right, so let's go into because I think was 8:17. I'm gonna probably end the stream here in a little bit, but I want to do what are those things? What do I type in, Ivan, to find those things? What are we looking at? I want to see if y'all can get these things. All right, we're gonna end with stereograms. Stay with me; they're pretty cool. I want to see if someone can find out what these stereograms are because they're hilarious. I want to end the stream with this because it's insane. So stereograms. Stereograms. Have a good night, y'all. Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it. I want to see if any of y'all can get this. When is your next live? Tomorrow at 6 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know what times. I think. Oh wait, Raj, you said California. So yeah, like 3 to 3:30 tomorrow is going to be when I'm on live tomorrow. Same time as today. I'm doing Sunday through Thursday, 6:30 to anywhere between 6 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time is when I do it. All right, let's jump into the stereograms because I think they're hilarious and I want to see if anyone can get these. I think I can just click one and then it should show up, right? No, that's not doing it. Maybe YouTube. Maybe I got to go to YouTube and do it. Stereograms. Because I need the video. 3D stereogram. All right, let's see if anyone in chat can get it. I want to see if anyone in chat can get it. It's not showing up. What the hell? Most beautiful art stereogram. Here we go. Maybe this one. Is this one animated? I think this one. Let's do this one. How do I mute this? All right. All right, I want to see them moving though. I want the moving ones. Come on, bear with me a second. Raj, shut him out. Raj, shut him out. You don't need the vid. Pic is enough. Pic? No, I want the video. Damn it. They move on pictures too. Okay. Let's just get something in here. Raj, no, I will stay. Okay, yeah, Raj, stay in here. We got to do this real quick. 3D stereogram. Here we go. That one's trippy as shit. How do I blow this up full screen? Can y'all see that? Nah, that's awful. I don't like this. Let me just get a picture. This one's terrible. Ivan, what do you have us looking at? Hold on. All right, last one, and then we're chopping this out. All right, so we're gonna do this one full screen. The problem is on TikTok, I can't get the whole thing. I need to do a pick for beginners. Okay. Let's do this pink one. This one looks good. Can y'all see that? No, you can't even see that. You can see some of that, right? You can see... See, the problem is, TikTok, I can't view the whole screen in there. Do y'all see it? Let me try if I can get it. Yeah, see if you can get something in here. Essentially, the theme of a stereogram is there's an embedded image inside of this design, and when you look at it for a long enough period of time, it shows you like some hidden image. I don't know. Ivan's been sending them to me for... I don't even know how long. I don't know how long, but apparently there's some hidden image in it, and you're supposed to look at it and try to determine what the hidden image is. I have no idea what this one is, but feel free if you have an idea of what it is, throw it in the chat because I can't get these things worth of shit. It just looks like a bunch of flowers. Like it doesn't look like anything to me. I don't understand. I have no idea what it is. Usually need the full pic. Let me try on YouTube. Yeah, for whatever. Yeah, go if you go on my YouTube channel, I have it full screen. Well, my face is in the middle of it, but that's the problem with TikTok is because it only gives me the vertical. I did these in high school. Yeah, so Sonny, you know what these are. I don't know how to do them. Ivan's been sending me these. He's been sending me these like video of them, and like I'm trying to figure it out. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I literally have no idea. I'm just staring at this thing, and I'm like, I mean, I see a bunch of flowers and pink stuff. Have a glass of wine, then look. Yeah, maybe I need to get drunk and then look at it. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Maybe I need to be smarter. I wish a lot more people can watch your TikTok lives and learn. Hey, we're getting there. We're getting there, Raj. The only it's so funny we went from crypto content to stereograms, which is hilarious. We'll get there, Raj. We'll get there. Slow but steady growth always wins. If I try to get rich fast or if I try to, build a following fast, it's never going to work. At the end of the day, it's all about slow, steady growth, just consistency, and we'll get there. But yeah, I think that I'm hoping that these are helpful. I'm hoping that, the analysis we're doing on these live streams is helping you guys. I mean, it helps me because I find Ivan said I got it. I got it. This one is really hard though. Try a different pick. What did you get? You didn't get it. It's a ball with holes. No, it's not. It's a ball with holes. That's bullshit. All right, so Ivan apparently thinks it's a ball with holes. I don't see that at all. I have no idea how you're seeing this. I literally have no idea. You have to put it really close to your face and then pull it away slowly and let your eyes focus. All right, so let me do that. Nothing. He said, Nick, you never get it. You will understand once you get it. All right, well, once I understand what I'm looking at here, I will understand. But until further notice, I don't get these things. I don't understand these stereograms. But eventually I will get to the point where I can understand these stereograms. But apparently Ivan got it. If there's anyone else, I know that there's a few viewers on YouTube. If you have an idea of what this looks like, let me know. All right, Ivan's going to explain. I can't view it. I can't put the whole thing on TikTok because, like, it's a large screen image and it only lets me show like a portion of it. So unfortunately, I can't. Patrick said that. Patrick said you're capping. You don't know what it is. I think he's lying. He's gonna explain. I'm waiting for the explanation. Then we can figure out what's going on. But Sonny said you have to have a bottle of wine first, and then maybe you can see it. I'm gonna try one more time. Nothing. No idea. Maybe my brain's just not meant for stereograms. So you need to come closer to the screen, maybe even touch your nose and look cross-eyed into the middle and don't focus on it. Look through the phone and then slowly go backwards. Not that far and it will suddenly show something. Okay, so you just have to like get like up close and personal on it and then back up slowly, and it took my girl a whole day of looking at it. All right, let me see. Nope, didn't work. I'll try it tomorrow. Maybe if you guys have any stereograms that you know of something, send it to me and I'll take a look at it. But until further notice, I have no idea what these things are. So with that being said, I will do my stereogram homework and we can do some tomorrow. Open new one and I'll tell you what it shows. No. I'm gonna do my homework and then I'll send you. It's a heart. See, Sonny said it's a heart. It's not a ball. Nick, I just sent the charts to your last videos on Twitter. Okay, awesome. Let me look at it. I didn't get around to doing them today just because work got busy, but I'll take a look at your videos tomorrow, and then on the live stream, we'll start with that. Just came back up. I'll start with that tomorrow, Salvo. That'll be the first thing we start with the live stream tomorrow. I just haven't had a chance to look at them tonight, or during the day I had a lot of work stuff to do, but tomorrow we'll start with that chart and the comparison. So for anyone here that's still on the live, We're going to start with this comparison chart from 2018 fractal and see how it compares to today. It's not that hard. It's not a hard. It's not a heart. No chance. Ivan said it's not a heart, Sonny. Unfortunately, there's a debate about whether that stereogram is a heart or a it'll take 2 minutes, please. Let me do it tomorrow because it's already 8:30. I got other stuff I got to do tonight, and I've been on live for the past 2 hours, so I want to take a break and get some rest. But I'll look at it tomorrow for sure. I'm not, just trying to push off the live. I'm just generally tired and want to get some rest. I will take a look at it tonight, and then we can cover it tomorrow. My ball looks like a heart, so fair enough. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to end the live there on the stereogram topic. I will let you guys mull it over for tomorrow, and then we'll be back on live 6:30, like around 6:15 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'll be back on live again, all social, so pick your choice. But I will see y'all tomorrow, and don't go throwing your life savings at VeChain after the chart we looked at. I know some people were saying they're going to go do that. Not investment advice, but let's make some money. So I wish y'all the best of the night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Go get dinner, bro. Facts. I'm gonna go eat. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll DM you some videos. Yeah, send me those videos, Ivan. I'll take a look at it.